Well, 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 look what we have here. It has finally officially arrived. Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering as of last night's pre-release. I hope if you're watching this video and you were looking to play that you were able to get out sometime this weekend and play as of this recording and going up shortly after I record it because I don't have enough people to do a live stream. I think that there are still many going on in my area. I know that, and I think that there'll hopefully be some product out there for people to buy after the weekend rush is over. But I want to give a quick shout out to the local game store I played at last night, Mimics. It was a packed house. It was easy to sign up. It was professionally run and well executed. Everybody there was super friendly, super helpful, and just excited as hell to play Final Fantasy and Magic the Gathering together as one thing. I was very excited to play. I talked to an old friend of mine who hasn't played since, Dr. X, the Tempest days, I think. And he had some incredible pulls. I wish I had his deck here to show you some of the cool alternate arts and things that he pulled. And he did very well. He did better than me, actually. I did not go 0-4 through rounds exactly. I did manage to actually win 2 games after I had some great help from folks with my deck, and I still ended up with a losing record, of course. But you know what, man? For not having played a pre-release in 11 years, not having played a pre-release event since Theros, this was so much fun. I obviously have a lot to learn about the playing of Magic. I can sit here and gawk over artwork and crack wise about names of cards and aggressive negotiations and all that. But playing it was incredible. So much fun. Brought back a lot of memories, but created a lot of new ones. And every single person I played was so kind and helpful and patient with me. Probably partially because they were kicking my ass some of the time, but it was a good time all around. I was having fun even when I was getting utterly annihilated by the Regalia and some other cards that we'll talk about that I didn't pull. And we'll get into what I pulled in just a moment. But I wanted to just, again, big shout out to Mimics. This was a ton of fun. And I already opened it, obviously, because I played last night. I had another one on the way, but the storms have delayed its arrival. Try to recreate the box here. But as you can see, I mean, look at that is like, you get the boxes are all sitting out. And I know you guys have seen them already. You know, it's this very plain white, very pro-looking box. It's compared to the art, especially on the last one, Tarkir, nothing to write home about, Oh, white, Magic the Gathering, Final Fantasy, looks like they put no effort into this, right? You peel that strip, and you read that line, answer the call of the crystals, and the noise that people in that room were making, the gasps, the laughs of glee, just the exuberance to dig into this thing was infectious and amazing. And it made me so excited for this set. I know all the chatter on there right now is, online anyway, it's too expensive. Nobody can play the game. Plenty of people were playing the game last night. All right. If you're just mad because you're not going to pull a 1 of 77 serialized card, go find something else to do. If you want to play a game and you want to get back into Magic or get into Magic for the first time, this set by itself is very user-friendly despite some of the things about it that are unique that we can talk about. But you play this game with people who have played it before, and they want to help you enjoy it. And that is a 180 from when I got out of Magic 11 years ago, when it was very much about curb stomping people and net decking and just having something that nobody could play against. And I mean, a pre-release, by the limited nature of it, is different, but I had such a great time. And I'll quit yakking about that. Let's talk about the box, and then we'll talk about the cards. You pop this thing open, and you see this OG turn-based battle scene, and the art goes all the way through the back. I mean, it's amazing, dude. I didn't pop those out for heroes like some people did. I did pop out all my +1/+1s, and then proceeded to put them in another deck box and lose them for the rest of the tournament. And I just sat there using the dice that I had. But anyway, that is the cool box. We'll leave that right here in the front, I guess, for lack of anything better to do. I think my die is in here with some of my others. I had to cannibalize some skins, some dragon shields, so Dr. X could play. That's not what came with it. This is what came with it. And there were different colored ones. I think his was black and red, if I remember correctly. But I mean, like, I couldn't have been happier to pull this die out. Got the Final Fantasy thing on there. I didn't see anybody with the dice bags. I wish I had been able to play somewhere that had those just to get one, but I think it's a D10 maybe that looks like a crystal, and then it's in a little crystal black velvet bag. But I am not at all disappointed with this. This is a gorgeous spin down, and the sparkle, the color, none of the corners are smashed in. This is so fresh looking and so cool. Let's get into the cards, man. Vincent to the side, but Vincent's here for a reason. Spoiler alert, he's not in any of these boxes. When I was kind of talking to Dr. X about this event tonight, he was like me, understandably, just a little bit nervous. He hadn't played in a while. He wasn't sure what the environment was going to be like. And we were very much, we're very much newbie returners to this game. He hadn't played in a lot longer time than I had. And so he was, we were trying to educate ourselves as best we could, but not playing this game, we're not super familiar with the mechanics that existed before it. And as much as I like playing on Arena, it's not it's fine for testing decks. It's not the best for kind of learning what different mechanics do, because the speed of it is so much faster than a regular tabletop game, in my opinion. So I told him, man, I didn't show you guys the box. 2 hits. It's a beautiful box. It's the same quality as the others. It's a little flimsy to use as a deck box, but it's pretty dang sturdy inside. Anyway, we were talking about, look, man, like, there's the divider. So good. I have kind of a history. My pre-release history of play was never good. I have terrible luck when it comes to drawing cards in pre-release. Actually, as you guys have watched videos before on here, I have pretty terrible luck in general pulling cards. So, I'm like, that combined with the fact I'm terrible at deck building on the fly, even though we had an hour to do it. And, everybody else is very familiar with it. And somebody's got to pull good cards, right? Everyone around me was pulling alternate arts. I think Dr. X has a extended art or borderless, I don't know what you call it, one of the regular gold looking traveling chocobo. I saw beautiful alternate arts of things out there, Vincent included. We'll get to that. I also saw a lot of cool promo cards. Mine is, a land. I probably should have whipped that out and put it in the deck I ended up playing, but by the time we got to that stage, I had forgotten about it and didn't really need it. But Dr. X pulled a promo Gilgamesh Master at Arms, and it was gorgeous. I'm trying to remember the other one I saw that somebody was playing with their promo. But anyway, Jidoor Aristocratic Capital from 6. Cool. A cool promo. I didn't take it out because, like I said, when I popped this thing out, and these are not in any good order anymore, so sorry, folks, you're just going to have to deal with that. I'm trying to, arrange them and see what I've got, and I've basically got a little bit of everything with to my eyes, not a common theme. There's your pre-release, how to build a pre-release deck. I was hoping, which I know you're never supposed to do, for black-white or white-red, because those seem to me the most straightforward to learn and potentially the easiest to two-color and build and get rolling. I started off with red-white. We'll go through some of the cards. They're all fairly, there's nothing too crazy in here. Obviously, you'll see it when I point it out. Warrior Sword, Auron's Inspiration, Zidane, which had to send a Beholdeth picture of that because one of his favorite characters from 9. Unexpected Request also said 9. I noticed 9 and 8. I assumed 8 wouldn't get very much representation in this, and I was very surprised by how much of 8 I saw. 9 as well has got a ton of cards in here. This was one of the ones that I was like stoked to get, because I mean, look, it's night, it's the round, it's from 7. It's amazing. It's a mythic rare. I think 1 or 2 games the whole night, and it was after I quit doing white red, did I have 8 mana on the board. With 40 cards, it just goes too quick, and I was sad to not really be able to play that in the first couple rounds, but I mean, it was ridiculous to think that I would. It was just the only real big bomb I had. Grahatia was in there, and of course I had a red Mage Rapier, maybe 2 of those, a white Auracite, because most of my removal was white. Galecat, a Curl. Some more stuff. This is getting out of order here. That's stuff that I pulled out of the deck when I switched it up with the help of somebody. Airship Crash, we'll get to that. 2 Lunatic Pandoras. If I got 2 more than... It was funny because, you know, they're telling us the rules before we start. It's like, yeah, if you pull, you know, 5 of anything in there, you can use it because it's whatever you pull. And it's like, if I got 2 of anything, I got 2 of these damn things and 2 that I'll show you later on. And nothing useful. No 2 Thunder Magics or Fire Magics or anything like that. It was all that kind of stuff. Charleon. The Nat, which that was the first big one I pulled out, and I was like, okay, well, that's going in. Like, that's, you know, that's one of the better white cards, I think. So I was like, I got to throw that in there. Summon GF Ifrit from 8. White Mage Staff, Guardian Force action. Sabo Tender, had exactly 1 of these. I was hoping for many. Magitech Infantry, oh, 1-drop, great. 1 of those. Did get a suplex, though. Nice. Sorceress's Schemes. I should put them up here so it quits zooming in and out. Slash of Light. A Cactar. Dr. X did pull the Jumbo Cactar, and I think got to swing it with a Blitzball shot on it. So he broke through whatever barrier somebody had for 10,000 to Chocobo Kick. Hope Eastheim. Queequeg Merchant. Garnet. Valkyrie Aerial Unit. Instant Ramen. I think I have a couple Vector Imperial Capitals, 1 foil. Monk's Fist. Here's a Waste. A couple neat art cards. I forgot that one. Oh, Edgar, Master Machinist. Neat Forest card. This is really a great art card. I mean, Una and Tidus, like, come on. Fantastic. Into the blacks that I didn't have enough of anything to use. Dark Knight's Great Sword. Black Mage Rod, Putrid Forayer, Namazu Trader, Arden the Usurper, I think the only major black card that I pulled. Resentful Revelation, another Dark Knight Greatsword, 1 Ahriman, 1 Tonberry, 1 Cornered by Mages, 1 Undercity Dire. I did pull a Rufus, so I was excited about that. I just didn't feel like I had enough to really support him. A Golbez, a Garland, which somebody else... of the guy who I'll talk about later pulled this also amongst a couple other things that I'm like the polar opposite of my whole situation. But yeah, he transforms into chaos. That's sweet. This Art of Memories of Nibelheim, which is beautiful. A beautiful card. I never got to use it. Paladin's Arms. 1 of the 2... Yeah, here he is. Hang on. 1 of 2 Cloudbound Moogles. That's another one I got 2 of, and one of them is a foil, which is funny. But 1 Haste Magic. Random Encounter, Magitech Armor, Laughing Mad, and a Magic Pot. I didn't end up using any of that stuff. So I built White Red. And I had the Venat and all that, you know, those Moogles and stuff in there. It was not a mana ramp. It was a mana curve. It was a mana butte. It's like a 1 and a couple 2 equipments that generate the hero token. And then it was like 4 and 5 spell stuff. And I was just getting... crushed by the first guy I played. He was nice about it, but he rolled me quickly. 2 rounds. That was another thing. So started at 7, cracked at 7, started at 8, and I never asked. It's been 11 years since I played. 4 rounds, so I'm thinking, okay, well, this is going to be over with quickly. And it was not, because it was a best of 3 every round, which I, you know, again, being a new returner to this, had no clue it was going to be like that. So we were there till past midnight, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. Never at any point did I want to leave. So cards that I did end up using, and let me rifle through them real quick while I keep talking to make sure they're all the right facing and they're in here, and I want to put some of the bigger things in the back to show you at the end. I get done playing. Like I said, I got rolled pretty quickly, and I'm sitting next to this guy who's sitting back, chatting, having fun. I think he was doing well against his opponent. And so he's talking to me kind of while he's playing. He's like, "How'd you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, not great. I try to put more mana in there to make up for how expensive it is, and it's just not, can't really get anything big out." So he looks through it, and he's like, "Well, let me see the rest of your deck. Let me see the rest of your cards." So he looks through my cards, and he's like, "Well," he didn't say it like this, but he's like, "Why the hell are you doing this?" He's like, "You need to be doing this." And this is what he helps me put together. And he was also, him and the guy he played were so nice. Because this was like, we'd gone into overtime on the first round, so they were giving it like, 5 more turns for all the teams to go, and he and the other guy helped sleeve these up while I got the mana that he calculated. But we ended up going with what I was afraid to do, and I didn't think I really had the wherewithal across the board to do, was green, blue, red. I never in my life would have picked blue. I'm a terrible blue player. It's always, I feel like blue, much as we joke about blue, it's a little bit of higher IQ than what I'm used to playing, which is red goblin, green dinosaur, swing, swing, swing. But this was fun, man, and I went from losing, on like the, 6th or 7th turn and, 20 minutes into a round, losing both games, to sticking in it even when I lost, making the match go like 40 minutes. So a single game go 40 minutes. And managed to draw a whole match one time and then beat the guy who put me out of my misery at the very end once. But this is what we've got. We've got a couple combat tutorials. Ice Flan. I think there's 1 or 2 in here. I think there's just 1, actually. We'll see. Expensive, but the important thing with this thing was it was tapping stuff as I came in. I played a guy, after I set this up, he was actually the opponent of the guy who helped me rebuild the deck. He had lock, and he always got lock on his first 7 cards. I had to mulligan every single round, as you would expect with a 3 mana set, because I couldn't get more than 1 mana any single time, and I'd have a handful of like 4 drops. That's just how it was. Anyway, the Ice Flan was the only thing that was keeping me in that game against lock, Death Touch with Lifelink, and later on another game that I'll talk about, Blitzball Shot, which helped me get across the finish line on those 2 occasions. And I think I have 2 of these, Balantir Rexars, which rightfully were identified as threats by my opponent and wiped out. The final guy I played, it was so funny. I don't remember exactly what he had. It was a hero artifact of some kind, and I had this and a hero with nothing equipped, and he had 2 creatures, basically. He had something that was not quite a 6/6, and I think it was like maybe a 4/5 or a 5/4. He went to attack, and I guess assuming I was going to block the artifact creature with the Rex R, and I blocked with the hero just to take the chump and keep him from hitting me. And then I forget which card it was. Wasn't eject. It was an instant death spell on the T-Rex R and left me wide open, and then he cooked me. But Crossroads Village, which was frequently a mountain, as you're going to see. Sleep, which was the only way I could effectively stop the guy at the end that I played, because he had Vincent, Garland, which I don't think ever came out, Inject. And Sleep was the only thing I could do to stop Vincent once he transformed him, because Vincent has, Trample and Lifelink, and if you kill it, he comes back to the battlefield. He transformed as Vincent, but he just transform him again at that point. So I couldn't really stop Vincent until I pulled this one. And of course, I only have 1. Persh's Wanderings, Geishel Greetings. There's a lot of stuff in here. Commune with the Beavers to either find mana and get it out, or dump on ones onto a landfall bird token. There's the other T-Rex R. It's a foil. Lionheart, which helped me cut through the defenses a few times. Quina, who I have 2 of, and Quina wielded the Lionheart on a few occasions. Call of the Mountain. Actually, there was one where I kept building frogs, and I because I didn't have any, I couldn't find those 1/1 counters down there, and I was using dice to represent the frogs. And the Regalia, by the way, is a bastard. I don't know why I wasn't thinking to block it with the frogs. I should have been letting those get road killed, but eventually the Regalia just overran everything I had. It's too fast, too strong early in that game. Another Queen Earth Crystal, which I only really got to play on one game, but it helped me get those Rexars out. Dragoon's Wyvern, which is nice because it generates that 1/1 for a blocker, but he usually got taken out pretty quick. I think he hung in. I think the last game that I won, he hung in there for a while and was coming over the top for some damage. There's a foil combat tutorial, and there is probably I don't want to say the coolest, but as far as utility and what saved my butt last night, the best card I have, because it's a foil Shiva, and Shiva taps an opponent, so get rid of neutralize Locke, neutralize Vincent, neutralize Jekt. That was the only way I was sticking in this game, and it was too bad, so sad that she went away after 3 turns, but she did her duty. The Ring of the Luci, this in theory would have been great, but it seemed like every time I did get this in my hand, the 4 mana could have been better spent on something else, and it never really became useful. I had a plan at one point to use that destroy target enchantment that is in here somewhere. I can't find it right now. Dang, I hope I didn't lose that. And give myself some life because I was hemorrhaging, probably from that Regalia. Magic Damper, which I never pulled that. Tell of the Great Sage, which came out, I think, every time close to the end. Once when I didn't really need it, and never when I could make use of if I had been able to make use of his abilities and play some 4 or 8 mana spells, it would have been sweet. Travel the Overworld, Dreams of Laguna, and the Big Daddy, probably the best card flat out that I pulled. Clive, if it's dominant. The guy who helped me rebuild the deck and the guy he was playing first all pulled this card, but the guy who helped me rebuild the deck pulled the alternate art on it, which is gorgeous. Turns into Ifrit, Warden of Inferno. And when he's done and gets exiled, he comes back as Clive, so he's kind of one of the summons that doesn't do that. Now now I'm getting distressed because I wanted to talk about that card that was it Tyr, Frozen Esper? I can't remember the name of it. It's a 1-drop green, and it was quite useful at certain points for knocking some artifact creatures out of the sky. It's somewhere in this mess. Hope I didn't lose it. It was a very useful card at times. But anyway, that was my deck. I wish I had Dr. X's here to show it to you because it was awesome. He was doing green-red, and he did well. He did better. Here we go. I found the other 3 cards. They were hiding behind these sleeves. Sorry. Didn't get a lot of dual lands either. There's my Baron Airship Kingdom, which was kind of the one town that I was pulling out when I had that Search for a Town card. Search for the Frozen Esper is what I was talking about. That was kind of, the downside is controller gains 4 life. So I had a plan at one point when I was getting rocked to destroy the ring of Lucy or the Lionheart or something to kind of give myself a buffer, but I was dead before I could do that. And this cool showcase of Torgal, a Fine Hound. If I had pulled Joshua and then had this and Clive, it would have been pretty sweet, but it didn't happen like that. Regardless, that is my mess of Final Fantasy pre-release. I have got my notifications that some of the stuff is on the way, so it won't be the last Final Fantasy we see, but I bet it's going to be hard to find for a while, man. Clive, what a great card. Didn't get to really use him to the best of his abilities. I think I got to play him once. So I clearly have a lot to learn about drafting, but I'll tell you one thing I know for a fact. This is a great set. This is so much fun to play. It is going to be, not difficult to collect, but it's going to be, if you're trying to get a complete set or something, it might be a chore. I tell you what, though, if you're interested in it at all, head to your local LGS this weekend, see if they have any pre-release for take-home or at-home pre-release kits left, or get in on a game. A lot of them are doing, Two-Headed Giant pre-release stuff this weekend, and I don't know the first thing about it other than this was so much fun. I am so glad we went. Thank you to Dr. X for coming with me. Thank you to Mimics for putting on a great event. Thank you to Josh for saving my bacon and making me at least competitive, if not competent, with the deck that you helped me build. And also thank you to, let's see, Tyler, Hunter, Thor, and oh no, I'm gonna forget the guy's name. Oh, I feel like a jerk. Garrett. Thank you guys for being patient spell casters with me and going on the Final Fantasy. It will not be the Final Fantasy for us. I can guarantee it. Until next time, sealed pre-release decks are for cowards. Limited events at your LGS are for true warriors of light. And until next time, my friends, peace out.